Good morning, class. Happy Monday. One of the last Mondays. We are getting right down to it. Next Tuesday, I believe, is your last day, so that's something to be very excited about. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and got outside. I wanted to stay outside just for shooting this video. Um, it's kind of cloudy, but it's just good to be outside, you know? You need that every once in a while. So as you can see, I'm sharing my screen with you, and I have our next assignment pulled up, 2020 Memoirs. There's the big reveal. There you have it. But before we get that, I think it would be only right for us to talk at least a little bit about the ending of Corrie ten Boom's The Hiding Place. And actually, you guys brought up pretty much what I wanted to say in our meeting last Friday, which is that when Corey goes back to the Bay, it's not the same as it was before. Of course, in an obvious sense, she's lost her closest family members. Father and Betsy both have died in the camps, and well, father in the prison. Um, and so that's very bittersweet. While she's returned in some sense, she is not returned to what she left behind, and that makes all the difference. But within herself, she's changed as a human being, and she's matured in ways that she couldn't have ever anticipated. She's put up with trials that would test her to the core. Yet she prevailed, and she trusted that the Lord would take her through, which he did. So she came back changed, and she came back with a vision for what would have to happen with the Beye, and how it could be turned around into something beautiful, and how out of the depth, the pit that she was in, she came back renewed and with a goal of what she could do with her life to change things. She takes Betsy's mission from Betsy as Betsy passes on, and she says, "Okay, I'm going to make this a reality." You see the correspondence between Betsy's vision and the house that she later is going to use. That is a miracle in itself. So that's something to enjoy at the end of the novel. And I think that corresponds very well with what my heart in this last assignment is. I want you to come out from this experience with something that you've learned. Not just learned with your head, but learned through having to walk through that. Because that's really the best way to learn anything. And it's the way life teaches us. Life teaches us in ways different than how I'm teaching you now, where I have a few points to make, I give you an assignment, I correct it, we move on that way. Life is different. Life will put you through the ringer, meaning make you experience something hard, and then you come out of it a different person, changed from the inside. So actually, how I want to teach you through that is by just looking deeply at what you're already learning and trying to put words onto that so that we can hold on to it. It's funny how we can learn a lesson in life and then move on from it a few months later. As in, we completely forget that wonderful piece of wisdom, and that was so vital. And once we're doing okay, once we've moved on, once life has gotten easier, then we just forget about everything we learned. The biggest biblical parallel with this would be the Exodus story about how God, with a strong hand, delivers them from the hand of Egypt. Up out of Egypt, he brings them through the Red Sea, and shows them these miraculous signs. And then just a few chapters later in Exodus, you see the same people that were delivered start to complain and wish they were back in Egypt. Why do we do that? And the cure for that is for them to remember the story, for them to reenact the Exodus event of when they were liberated, when they were freed from Pharaoh. And they keep telling that story. And we keep telling that story, even though we're living in the year of 2020. because that story needs to always be brought back at the front of our mind so that we can reflect on it and remember who God is. In the same way, 2020 will pass. And right now you're saying, okay, let's bring it on, right? I am too. 2020 has been tough, and this season will pass. That's a promise we can enjoy. Um, Yet, when it passes, it's going to be easy for us to grow stagnant or to simply forget everything we could have learned. And so we need to relish this moment. That means enjoy it. Give thanks in all circumstances, like Betsy did in the camps. Give thanks for the fleas that seem so annoying, but are the way that they could experience God, right? So let's try to take 2020, the whole virus crisis, the whole situation, all the disappointments, and turn that into something, a lesson, a piece of wisdom, a story that we can hold on to even when times are better, and we can remember what it was that was so important to learn. Here's what I wrote for the intro to this assignment. I think it's safe to say that 2020 will be a year we all remember. The first few days of the virus were shocking to most, but then it lingered on for weeks upon weeks and simply made its home right here in our neighborhood, demanding that everyone arranged their lives around its arrival. Completely unavoidable. Yet, while this season will be remembered by all of us humans, we will remember it in very different ways. Some will only feel bitterness for years to come when they reflect upon it. Others will laugh at the ridiculousness of it all, never having dealt with the tragic side. Think of you can kind of just block it out, not watch the news, not talk to anybody in the medical field, and then it seems okay, right? If you're just living inside, not kind of dealing with it, that's probably not the healthiest way to approach it either. That's called denial. But some of us, and I hope you are in this group, will take a new piece of wisdom away from this crisis through thoughtful reflection. 2020 is something for all of us to process. Disappointments, fears, new rhythms of life, sickness and loss, stories of hope, and perhaps the happiness of newfound family time. Whatever it is for you, it's worth slowing down to think about. Here's the central question. What is God teaching you through this season? That's your job for this final assignment of my class. Slow down, think, process, and pray. Is there a way for us to follow the character of Betsy in giving thanks to God in all circumstances, even 2020? What is something beautiful that could come of this situation? And after you think about it, I want you to write about it. Writing helps us put our feelings, experiences, and takeaways into words. This writing assignment is 1 to 2 pages, double-spaced. A short reflection. This could also be called a memoir. These memoirs will be collected and compiled into a book for you to take with you when you leave Chapel Hill. Graduation's on the 28th. As of today, it's still uncertain what that will look like. But either way, you will have this book for you that I'll put together. In addition to typing up your memoir, you will need to record a video of yourself reading one sentence. Am I asking you to read the whole thing? Nope. One sentence. The one that you want everyone to hear from you, the take-home point, the big takeaway. These clips of you all reading your one sentence will be edited together into a video so that you can play it back in 10 years when you are my age and remember all of the inspiring things your friends had to say back in those strangest of days. Perhaps some of our insights will only make sense looking back, as the hindsight is always 2020. That's a joke. I hope you got it. It's a dad joke. I'm not a dad. I just like that joke. That's your assignment for the last week. So that's all that's left in language 8. Can you believe that? It's come to an end so fast, And this was my first year, and I expected it just to be painful all year long. It's not. You guys were such a joy to teach. So I thank you for being my first class of students, and I will remember you. Um, it's just been a great ride so far. Okay, I'm trying to think of anything I'm missing from this assignment. Um, Two of you, I will approach you and ask you to share the fullness of your memoir at the graduation. If that's going to be, I'm not sure what our graduation is going to look like yet. If that's um, only going to be through cars, then it would be a recording of you saying it all. If it's going to be, I don't want to get your hopes up. I don't know what it's going to be. So we'll deal with that when it gets there. Um, and two of you will have yours presented in full, perhaps through a recording. And so I'll pick two that I think really represent the class well and that would fit well at a graduation. So be considering that as well when you're writing these. Okay, 2020, coming to an end of the school year. It's been a wild ride. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you for sticking with me for these 12 minutes. Hope it all made sense.